Welcome back to Bulletproof Mindset, your go-to podcast for health, fitness and entertainment. I'm your host, Dale Crossar, and today I give you my top 8 myths that I would like to see stay behind in 2024. This is a short, sharp episode, but a bit of fun. I enjoyed actually recording this. Look, really quickly, before we get into the episode, if you're new around here, every Monday and Thursday I release an episode. You can follow me on Instagram at Coach Crossar. If there's any topics you would like to see me cover, shoot me a message. I'd be happy to answer some of your questions and maybe even bring them on the podcast. And lastly, we are in the month of December, so happy December. 1 month to go. Remember, everyone's slowing down, but you can speed up. This is how you gain an advantage. And one advantage I would like to gain is more 5-star ratings. So if you haven't already, consider leaving a 5-star rating on Spotify. If you're not subscribed on YouTube already, head over there and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below this video. And with that being said, enjoy today's episode and I'll see you guys on the next one. So here we are into the last month of December 2024. Now you're probably wondering, where on earth is this year going? And just like that, snap of the fingers, we probably set a lot of goals. We're very ambitious, and hopefully some of you guys have achieved the goals and been able to get out and see the world and do the things you want to do and build strength and fitness and all that good stuff. What I wanted to do for today's episode was actually break down some myths and trends that I would like to see leave or stay in 2024. I'm going to do a follow-up episode to this to see which will, I don't know what to title it actually, maybe like trends I would like to see going into 2025. But what I thought I would do is break down some myths that have came out of 2024. Now, these myths, we've covered them off before. There's a couple of repeat offenders, should I say. And I think these will always be repeat offenders until... I wonder if we'll ever get rid of some of these drastic ones. One that comes to mind, and my dad, it was my dad that said it to me like just a couple of months back, was, yeah, I'm going to go out a run, go out a run with a bin bag on, or sit in a sauna with a bin bag on. And I thought to myself, fuck, I thought that had gone. And it was the whole like, the more you sweat, the more calories you burn, which, by the way, is a myth. So, what are some of the myths that seem to persist in 2024, and what should be left behind? So let's kick things off with the whole hybrid movement, right? The myth that hybrid is the best approach to training, or is the news, well, let's be honest, it's more of a trend because of High Rocks, because of run clubs, because of just, I guess, the way social media is going. Now, hybrid training is actually a good way to set up your goals and have kind of more performance-driven stats behind your workouts. But the whole hybrid being the best approach as to why some people look a certain way is a myth, right? Now, I don't know how to put this to words, but I know a lot of people are getting swept under in this whole hybrid style of training, wanting to be able to run and lift weights because they see the High Rocksers, or they see someone who runs and lifts weights and they're in incredible shape. The reality is, to get into quote-unquote incredible shape, well, first things first, it's very subjective, right? There's no objective markers to say that one person or one look is the way to be in quote-unquote incredible shape. You're very judgmental in front of the mirror, and if you listen to the previous episode with the whole body dysmorphia, I don't think you ever truly get satisfied with that look in the mirror. And that's why putting performance goals behind some of your results or some of your fitness goals is one of the best ways to get after it. But when you look at this hybrid space, one of the reasons why so many of these guys look great, or why you think they look great, is because they've spent years building muscle and building strength. So in order to build a good foundation, it does start with lifting weights in the gym. And sometimes with the hybrid movement, people are spending too much time doing crazy WODs, High Rocks workouts that are, let's be honest, they've got no structure to them. And look, here, I'm going to step back here. It's fun. It's fucking brilliant. I enjoy it myself, but there should be structure to your programming to build strength, build resilience, and more importantly, have progressive overload. Now, there's an argument to be said that as you do random workouts from week to week, there is an element of an adaptation, a progressive overload, I guess, if you want to call it that, because you're doing these movements that you're not been used to doing. But over time, that stimulus will be adapted to and you won't see any progress whatsoever. So if you just hammer random classes, random CrossFit classes, random WODs, you won't see any true progress to your physique and your performance goals. There has to be structure behind it. So albeit this hybrid movement is great, it's great to see people going into high rocks, just be careful with the best approach to training. There should be, as I said, progressive overload. There should be structure. 1 week, or the workout should be the same rotation in a certain, let's say, phase or mesocycle as it's usually referred to. And basically that means is you're just doing the same workouts for 4 weeks, for 6 weeks, whatever it is. And in those 6 weeks, the weights that you lift is X, and then the next week there is some sort of change. Usually the common ones are more reps, longer time, more volume in terms of the weights that you lift, but it can be things like swapping out exercises and taking your time going through them. So just remember that the hybrid movement is a sexy thing to get caught up in. It's fun to do, but don't let that, like, as you dip your toe into that world, just make sure there's a solid foundation when it comes to programming. And stay tuned for the month of December, as I have a very exciting announcement to make for you guys that are maybe looking for that little bit of structure. Okay, next myth, no pain, no gain. I thought this one had gone, but I hear it time and time again, and especially seen it this year, like people in agony from those, as I said, high rocks workouts, and they're like, yeah, no pain, no gain. Well, there doesn't always need to be soreness, and just because there's no soreness the next day, that doesn't really measure how effective a workout is. Now, we have to be very careful with this, because on one hand, people don't train hard enough, right? And on the other hand, people train way too hard. Believe it or not, like, waking up the next day and feeling, oh yeah, you know what, I feel good, that is the sweet spot, right? If you're sore going into the next day, then it can impact your following day. And that's why the whole argument of no pain, no gain is usually frowned upon by the bodybuilders, or like just sometimes even just coaches, my fellow peers in the space, because we like to feel something, feel the sense of achievement. But when we break it down, sometimes we can do too much damage where the muscle isn't repairing and building, it just simply is repairing the damage that you've done. So be very careful on that. Effective training doesn't really require pain, and the more you hammer the body, the more you're going to get injured. So if you've seen injuries increase, then that's your body telling you that you went too hard too quickly. It's that simple. So no pain, no gain is a myth. Right, next one, the spot reduction of body fat. I have seen a rise in, well, let's see, not a rise actually, it's probably the same. It's just social media makes it look as if it's happening more. The whole spot reduction of fat classes, legs, bums and tums, abs classes, lose your fat classes, fat loss programs, these things that target specific parts of your body. It's all marketing, right? It's very gimmicky. There isn't a way to spot reduce a certain part of body fat on your body. However, you can build muscle in that part of your body that gives the illusion that you're losing fat, but ultimately all you've done is change your body composition. And the only way to go through that process is by building muscle and losing body fat. That's how you change your whole body composition. So treating fat loss in specific areas through exercise is a no-no. It doesn't happen, unfortunately. There is an argument to be said that there is an element of muscle building in a particular area. So for example, let's say I had a bit of like saggy bingo wings, that's usually referred to, and I want to quote unquote tone up that area. Then by building strength in around my arms, my biceps, my shoulders, that's going to give the illusion that I'm actually losing body fat in that bit. And in reality, I might not change weight, but I can see that area start to tighten up. So that process takes a long time. It takes a very long time, actually. I think you can expect to build like 2 pounds of muscle per month if you're a natural lifter. And as we get older with age and like just life in general, that process slows down. So we all have this cap of what we can build. And no, that shouldn't be your sign to use anabolic steroids. Okay, next one. Let's talk about food, right? So carbs being the enemy, fat being the enemy, protein being the enemy, animal meats being the enemy, cheese, insert whatever topic. There is no bad food. The reason I'm pausing there is because you can view food Like, for example, I think I said this in the last episode, me going to a birthday party and having a slice of cake isn't frowned upon. Me having a slice of cake for my breakfast every morning is frowned upon. It's very subjective, right? Who's to say the cake isn't just it's something that I enjoy, and if it's kind of in the world of food that I have. But the reality is there's foods that make us feel good and there's foods that make us feel shit. And the better response, or the better way we cut through all that and just pay attention to our feeling after having certain meals allows us to build this better relationship with food. If I want a piece of cake, then I'm going to have it. But if the piece of cake puts me on the toilet pan and I don't feel really good, I might have to go through that process a certain amount of times. So there isn't any bad food necessarily, right? Food being the enemy, food is obviously, it's almost a drug, it's an outlet, it's a coping mechanism. It's also how we enjoy life, we socialise, and it's usually around events and celebrations. Celebrations. So understanding the part that plays in how we go about our fat loss, how we go about our fuel, how we just go about our life is an important factor to make, but stop demonising certain types of food. One of my clients the other day, we were just talking and he was like, he asked me what I had for breakfast and I was like, I have eggs and bacon. He's like, oh yeah, I love eggs, but sometimes I have bread and I know bread's not good for you. Says who? And I said, my whole response to him was like, look, if you digest bread pretty well and you don't feel too bloated or you don't feel bad after it, then have it. And he's like, no, it makes me feel shit. And I was like, well, there's your response for having it. It's not that it's a bad food, it's just your body doesn't agree with it. We always talk about our gut and our brain being very connected, and that feeling in your gut is so, so true. So pay attention to that. Right. More supplements, more results. The rise in supplementation this year, the hype of electrolytes, the hype of just supplement stacks is going through the roof, right? There is a need for some of the key basics, but it's very person dependent. You're better spending your time on nailing your nutrition from whole foods than you are getting it from supplement stacks. The reality is that these supplements, our body, it's a foreign substance in our body, right? It's chemically made, or it's made in a lab, and it's multiple ingredients put together, and our body doesn't absorb 100% of that. So everyone's going to be different in how that goes through our digestive tract and how we work through absorbing some of the key nutrients that these supplements give us. So bear that in mind. Our bodies we've evolved over the years to eat proper food. So anything that becomes more and more processed becomes a very, as I said, this foreign object or this foreign substance in our body starts to reject it a little bit. And that's why some of you guys have so fucked up digestion from protein bars, protein shakes and all that sort of stuff. However, they are a great tool to have, but they don't make or break why you're not building muscle or why you're not seeing results with your progress. The main pillars are sleep, water, good training stimulus, and a good nutrition, right? And arguably in the nutrition window, there is elements that fall into supplements to help you through that. But don't get it twisted. You shouldn't necessarily need these. So don't get caught up in the hype just because all your friends are buying them. It's the best thing you can, the only supplement I have kind of bought, and I haven't been consistent taking it, is fish oil and vitamin D. Everything else is done from whole foods. Now, as you start to go down your fitness journey and start to understand your body a bit more, maybe get some blood work done, you'll start to realise there's gaps. Now, you try and treat that with whole foods to start with, but if you find it hard to hit your protein intake, for example, then this is where the tools of getting a good protein powder that you can digest can be very, very valuable. Okay, so next one. Women should, I wouldn't say avoid lifting weights, because there is the hype I seen more around this year was muscle mummies. And I like that phrase, like getting women to lift again. Lifting weights will not make you bulky, right? This argument that it will. And I know the CrossFit athletes or high performer athletes, there is some people that frown their face upon that, right? First of all, fuck them. Second of all, you starting out your fitness journey, you're comparing yourself to someone who's been in the game for 20, 30, 40 years or done it since not birth, but like being 5, 6 years old, always been physically active. And if you've been in and out that journey, the likelihood that that's going to happen to you is very, very, very slim. Okay, so lifting weights won't make you bulky. Lifting weights will in fact make you healthier, give you a better quality of life, reduce your pain from your joints, build more strength, give you more energy, and just overall make you feel good. And that's just to mention a few Okay, so women should absolutely be lifting weights, and it will not make them bulky as they do. The weight training, like if you think about toning, which is a marketed word towards women, to tone your arms, you need to build muscle, and you cannot build muscle if you don't have resistance. And the best resistance is, of course, lifting weights in the gym. It can be done through Pilates and body weight exercises and band, but you are limited to what happens in that realm. Speaking of, Pilates has been a big thing this year, and the only I love anything that gets people together in the class environment, but the one thing I hate about Pilates, it's almost the same as the high rocks workouts, it's the same as the WODs. There's no consistency or structure to them. So how do you know that you're progressing from week to week? Your progressive overload is something like, oh yeah, I showed up to 2 of them this week, okay, I'll do 3 of them next week, 4 of them week after. Like, you've only got so much time, and to go harder, faster and longer, it's going to lead you to injuring yourself. Right, next one, detoxes and cleanses, right? It's just, I've seen more and more of these. I think there's a whole spiritual awakening side of things happening. And look, I get it, right? We can feel bloated, we can feel backed up, we can feel really lethargic. And sometimes going through this quote unquote detox cleanse can really help us feel better and kind of instantly get this reward of, damn, you know what? I feel really good after that. It must be the detox I need. So then you've kind of solved a short-term problem, but you've not solved the solution. So you go about your daily life. You don't implement getting outside. You don't implement moving, stretching, doing your mobility drills, strengthening your body through resistance training, and you fall back into that default pattern. So then you're stuck in this cycle. I just need another detox. It's not going to work, right? They are fads. They are playing on your insecurities and their money-making schemes. It's usually multi-level marketing. Herbalife is notorious for it. And in fact, most of anything that is telling you to have this to detox your body and replace whole foods, I would stay away from it personally. The body naturally detoxifies itself, and usually the reason that you have to detox is because you've been going in and out of these diet phases. So just bear that in mind. Okay, I'm going to say this one, and I've battered this home on this episode if you've been, not episode, podcast if you've been a long-term listener. Running does not help you lose weight. Doing anything cardio related is a tool, but if you use that as the main driver to lose weight, you will get fatter. Your body fat percentage will go up even though you're getting lighter. Because if you hammer the cardio and don't do very much in terms of the resistance training with a good program, you will lose muscle. And the body composition side of things, like if you ever lost a ton of weight but felt fatter, like the weight in the scales that went down, you're like, man, I feel looser, like my skin feels flabbier. That's what's happened in that process. Run clubs have been a very popular thing this year. Fucking love them again. Getting people together, doing something fitness related, doesn't involve drinking alcohol or like nothing wrong with drinking alcohol and going about having a meal, but running for the sole purpose of trying to become, I don't want to say fitter, but running without having a program built to strengthen your body will actually, I think, do you more harm than good. Now, running still beats the option of not doing anything, being a couch potato. But the argument that I would make is you're going to fall in love with running, right? And then you might already be someone that loves this, loves the Pilates, loves the high intensity classes, loves the run clubs. But there's going to be a time where, because you're not strengthening your body and creating resilience around your muscles that support your joints, your tendons, you're going to hurt yourself, right? And when that injury occurs, it's going to take the thing that you love away from you. And that's going to mess with your mind. And once it messes with your mind, you're going to be a little bit down, maybe even depressed, and you're going to fall into this hole. And what normally happens is you reach for comfort foods, you seek for comfort activities, going out with friends, having a drink because you're like, can I do that thing just now? And you end up in this downward spiral. So to save the hassle, if you're doing running to lose weight, don't, right? I'm saying just don't do it. shift the focus to run to enjoy the performance side of things. You don't need to hammer your body, but you can enjoy it. It's such a dopamine hit to do. I would encourage everyone should have the ability to run, and if you don't, you need to start with resistance training, strengthening the body, and alongside of that, doing small runs that incrementally work through that. Mentioned earlier on, a little Easter egg here. The programme, or I just gave it away, the programme that will be launching in the month of December. So if you need to keep listening to this podcast, because it's going to be 3 podcasts from now, it'll all be ready for a nice little Christmas present for someone, or to start January with a bang. There's going to be elements of both running and resistance training and how you structure that in the new launch of my next big venture. Anyway, so run clubs, great. Running to lose weight or running to lose fat, bad. Okay, stay away from insert any cardio activity. Biking, Stairmaster. By the way, here's another one, myth busting right here. Stairmaster does not build your glutes. I see bodybuilders talking about this online. Like, if they get a stimulus from the Stairmaster building their glutes after they've trained their leg day, they've got such a loud anabolic signal from the use of anabolic steroids that yes, that can happen with them, but you're not them and you're not on anabolic steroids. So the point that we mentioned earlier, overtraining is a thing, and you can do so much damage to the muscle that your muscle doesn't repair and grow, which is what you want. You want to build muscle, build shape to your bum, that you end up just repairing and in some cases overtraining and blunting the muscle building signal because you've done this loud signal of cardio where you build nothing. So it's almost a wasted session. So the Stairmaster does not build your bum. Do whatever cardio you want to do to move your body and feel good. Everybody should have an element of cardio or just walking and movement. Some of us have desk jobs for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, so we need to prescribe cardio. We need to jump on the bike, jump in the assault runner, insert anything, but you're not doing that to lose weight. You're doing that for just your general heart health and overall fitness. So that wraps up the myths that I would like to leave behind in 2024. Now, there is hundreds of myths out there, but I want to hear from you. What is some of the myths that you have seen this year in 2024 that should stay in 2024? Let's spark a little bit of discussion. Is there any I missed? Any you would like to see me cover in a future episode? Bit of a short one today, but I wish you a happy December. Hopefully you've started your Christmas shopping. Hopefully the Christmas decorations are up. Mine's aren't, but they will be, hopefully, when we come back from our weekend away. So you know the script by now. If you enjoyed today's episode, look, the best way you can support me, share it on your stories, tag me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you think of today's episode. If you're a new listener, first of all, welcome. Thank you for sticking around to the end. If you enjoyed it, leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, and you can follow me on Instagram at Coach Crossar. And with that being said, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.